So how has partnering with others helped or hurt Sixth Street Consulting?
We can log into the Microsoft portal and you're just a guy on a website and trying to figure that stuff out. There's no one really to talk to. I thought with the IMCP would be a great way to kind of, talk to some real humans that worked at Microsoft, and it was. And one of the benefits that came out of that was starting to talk to some other partners and hearing their challenges and problems and realizing like, oh, we're kind of all in this together, and figuring out that, hey, although we have our brochures say we do all these things and we're amazing in all categories. In reality, we're probably really good at a couple of, a few things, and are knowledgeable at a lot of these other things. And then you start realizing that there are these great opportunities where we could actually work with other partners. And it was really helpful for us because, from our standpoint, at the time we were starting to really zero in and focus on SharePoint. In order for SharePoint to run, especially in an on-prem environment, everything else needs to work. The networking needs to be in place. The servers need to be in place. The operating systems need to be patched. SharePoint is at the application layer. And a lot of the times, the SharePoint was already installed and working fine, but very underutilized. And they did not. So a lot of the times, a lot of companies would have, done all those things correctly, but they weren't utilizing this incredibly powerful tool, and they could bring us in as specialists. On the flip side, when we would go and take a look at a company and they were very excited about, hey, we're going to do some automation and some workflow and do all this stuff, we would say, well, yeah, as a prerequisite for that, you have to have all this pyramid of stuff below it working well. And this isn't working and this isn't working. We can't even get to our SharePoint project, for example, until your Active Directory is fixed. And so we would bring in partners for Active Directory, and we were finding that, wow, this is actually works. Like we could actually pull in partners, and we're not necessarily competitors. We're actually specialists, and as long as there was I would say an environment of trust, those partnerships could turn out to be very beneficial, and they were for us. And we basically, within the first couple of years of participating in IMCP, we tripled the size of the business, and I would say, a good 30 to 50% of that gain came from working with IMCP partners that were bringing us business.